What's going on, everybody? My name is Ronald, and welcome back to another episode of Love and Magic. And just in case you're new here, don't leave without subscribing. And also, if you do enjoy the video, kindly like and share to everyone, your friends, your family, and friends. I hope you guys enjoyed the last video we did with Pavneet. And if just in case you haven't yet watched it, I'm gonna put it at the end screen of this video so that you also watch it. And today we still have the one and only
Pavneet Kaur Lote.
Right. How are you, Pavneet?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm also good. How was your week?
It was great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What about yours?
Mine was also great. Yeah, everything was good, and the year is good so far.
Yeah. How was your New Year's?
Well, my New Year is okay. Well, 2025 has begun on a high note, and I'm just hoping it's gonna end also on a high note. I think everything is good so far, and I'm enjoying the year. What about you?
Well, it's been great. I think really laid back, I would say. Really laid back start for me. Yeah.
It's gonna be okay. I mean, let's hope for the best.
Oh yeah,
Do you have any resolutions?
Not really, but I do hope I get to expand my skills and knowledge by the end of this year and gain something, be a changed person overall.
Right. Yeah, it's gonna be a perfect year.
Do you have any New Year resolution?
Yeah, of course. One of it being to grow, mentally, spiritually, and financially, especially financially.
Yeah, that's very crucial though.
Yeah, and I hope you guys also are having nice year so far, and happy New Year to everybody.
Yeah.
How did you find it, the last episode that we did?
It was okay, it was good. I've got some people saying that I went into too much detail.
Right.
I guess I should keep it on a low this time and maybe just give a brief idea of what it is.
Right. Yeah. So guys, just in case you didn't also, if you are new to Pavneet, let her just introduce herself so that you get to know her before we proceed.
Yes, my name is Pavneet Lote, like I said earlier, and I have completed my degree in counseling and psychology from Daystar University.
Right.
Yes.
Wow. What got into psychology?
I was curious. I think I said this in a previous video. I was just more like curious to learn about psychology, but I liked where it got me now.
Right.
I think I was doing accounting before I changed my line completely, and it was a complete change into like the way we think and did everything, because accounting was more practical and it allowed you to just do more practice. Of course counseling does, but counseling, it felt more of a thought process. And I want to give credit to this teacher of mine, and she completely, like doing 2 classes with her in the first semester, completely changed my perspective on psychology, because I was more about doing what the teacher was doing, and I used to do my studying according to the teacher.
Right.
Yeah, like I would figure out what kind of paper he or she would bring, and I would read accordingly. But I didn't read for reading. I didn't study for studying. But when I switched to psychology, especially when I was introduced to this teacher, this lecturer, she forced us to think.
Right.
She didn't give any notes at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people would complain about it. I complained about it as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that was the best part of it, because it allowed me to think on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like I was becoming myself more
Right.
by doing that than just reading. Yeah.
What's her name?
Her name, I don't know the full name, but she was called Alice.
Alice.
Yeah.
Shout out to Alice.
Yes, Mrs. Alice.
You changed someone's life.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about relationships.
Yeah. Let's talk about relationships. Yes.
You ever been in a romantic relationship?
Nah, never have I ever.
Relationship between you and yourself?
It's okay. That's yeah. I would say I know myself better now.
yeah. And of course, your parents.
Yeah. What about you?
Yes, same to me. Though for me, I've been in a couple of romantic relationships throughout my life, and I'm grateful for all the relationships in the past,
Yeah.
and my current relationships right now. I think relationship is really important in our day-to-day life, right?
Romantic relationships?
Both. Relationship with the, God, family, and also romantic, also with friends.
Do you think romantic relationships matter, and especially if you've like dated at an earlier stage?
Yeah, definitely. I think, especially, because dating at an early stage, I think it kind of shape you, conditions you, or rather, it directs you to the kind of a person maybe you are. Or
you kind of figure out the kind of person you want, and also you find yourself more in that.
Yeah.
I have a contradictory opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think growing up, like I had said earlier in the previous video, I struggled with low self-esteem, and I don't expect my partners to be mature or immature, but in case you find someone who is not good, I would say like just being with a toxic person.
Being with a toxic person.
Yeah. And they constantly undervalue you, and that can really it would really jeopardize your mental health.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think I first built myself, and that's what I've been doing now till now. And I think now that I'm confident in myself, and secure in who I am, and aware of my actions and behaviors, I feel like I want to be the best person for not just for myself, but for the other person as well. But also recognize what kind of person, or if someone might say hurtful things, they wouldn't impact me a lot as compared to years ago. So I personally would recommend the youth to first build themselves before they get into a relationship with someone. Yeah.
Okay. Is it? Did I read it somewhere or watch it somewhere? I remember it was kind of something like that love is. You can show love if you really love yourself. Like you'll be able to radiate love if you have the love within yourself. I don't know if it makes sense.
Okay, well, I don't know. When people, I've heard some guys say, how can you love yourself? You need someone to show you that.
Yeah, that's actually that was the next question I was to ask.
Well, I do agree with him, because I don't know how you can love yourself, but you can care for yourself. It's not a must that you completely ignore who you are, or sometimes people ignore how they feel.
Yeah.
suppress their feelings, emotional needs, and well-being to please others.
Right.
You don't want to do that as well.
Mhm.
So you need to care yourself. And I would say if it's called self-love, then yes, do it.
Mhm.
It's self-care. You need to find yourself in that,
Mhm.
which is good. And of course, you need someone who loves you for who you are. That love is different to what self-love is, and it's not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And I feel like early relationships, early childhood relationships also can sort of affect your relationship as an adult.
Yes, that
Can you
is
confirm
very
that?
true.
Uh-huh.
In fact, there is a psychologist. His name is called John Bowlby,
Right.
and he was the first attachment theorist.
Mhm.
He wanted to understand basically the anxiety, the distress the children felt when they were separated from their primary caregiver.
Right.
What that meant is like, before, early on, people were like, this bond uh, between a mother and a child was formed through feeding. Like, but he said whenever you separate a child from a mother, it doesn't reduce the anxiety the child felt when they were separated, no matter how much they were fed. So he wanted to understand what is this separation anxiety children felt,
Right.
and the comfort they felt, like whom they ran to when they were scared. And it's that he believed that it's through this little caring and comfort, these actions that were aimed at maintaining and securing the relationship that helped
build a bond.
that helped build the attachment.
Uh-huh.
And it persists through time, through age, not just when the child is immediately born, exactly, but through time, like 12 to 18 months. In fact, there are plenty of studies done. In fact, there is an experiment done by Mary Ainsworth. She did a groundbreaking study on this. She called this strange situations. So she observed how 12 to 18 months of children reacted when they were briefly left alone in a room. And through that, she came up with 3 major styles of attachment.
Of which are?
There's the secure attachment, and then the rest are types of insecure. One is anxious attachment. The other one is avoidant attachment.
Right.
And then the 4th one was introduced by Maine and Solomon.
Right.
And they came up with disorganized attachment. And all of this literally, I am pretty sure some people would be able to relate to this. And how like they behave in a relationship, like it's literally described. And of course,
those four
the
types.
4 attachment styles. And it's like over 50 years of extensive research. Even now, many psychologists do agree that these your relationship that you formed at earliest years, in your earliest years, does impact your future relationships. So if you have had a secure attachment with your parents, you tend to have a secure attachment with your future partners.
Right.
And if you have had an insecure one, like an anxious or avoidant, you have
Definitely
similar.
gonna affect.
Yeah, that pattern moves on to your other partners. Yeah.
Wow. That's actually I'm actually amazed. And it's actually true because many times personally I have experienced I'm from the types of, you've just said, the types of attachment, I think I've experienced some of them. Like you talked about avoidance, right? Yeah, and I can remember at some point I literally avoid the people that I love.
No. You avoided intimacy.
Intimacy, yeah. And that's actually a problem, yeah.
Do you think that stemmed from your childhood or your relationship with your parents?
Yeah, I think so. Because in my early childhood, I never really had that stable bond with my parents. So I kind of let's say since when I was an infant to around 4 years, I stayed with my grandmother, and then from 4 years to around 15 years with my dad, and then now from 15 to to now where I am with my mother. So you know, it's kind of not a really stable kind of a relationship, and I think that also affects me right now because it's so hard for me to even just maintain relationships with my partners, you know. Do you have any insights about that? Maybe.
I would first like to ask about your relationship with your grandmother, because you said you stayed with her from an infant to 4 years. So how would you say, like, were you right now at this very moment, are you able to share anything with her? Are you did you feel secure with her?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, was she someone who you could rely on or share about anything?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you had a secure attachment with her?
Right now?
Right now and back then?
And back then?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And she was really protective of me. So, in fact, when I'm like, my mind is, you know, there's not so much happening to me. I'm just relaxed and calm. So many memories of my relationship with my grandma still comes in flashes. So I think my connection with her was really secure, and even right now.
Even right now?
Yeah.
Which is good. You know, we share different attachment styles with different people. And with certain people, they're secure. So it's maybe you've had a secure attachment growing up with your primary caregiver, and maybe a different one with others later on. And that is because of the past experiences you've had. Maybe like your past relationships with the other people have had an impact on you negatively or even positively, and that might change the course of the kind of attachment you have with your future partner. So maybe like a betrayal, trauma, abuse, all this can impact even if you have had a secure attachment early on, and vice versa, of course. So with positive changes in your life, not just within you but externally as well, you can change the kind of attachment you have with your future romantic partners. Yeah.
And could you just talk more about the types of attachments you just give us, so that me and the rest could understand more?
Yes. So first of all, before I get into it, I think I mentioned about did I mention about Mary Ainsworth?
No.
Okay. Well, she followed the study continuously, like continued under that. She did a groundbreaking study called Strange Situations.
Right.
It's on YouTube, called Strange Situations by Mary Ainsworth, 1970 study. And in that, she, like I said, she came up with those 3 attachments. I think I did mention earlier. And in that, she demonstrated in an experiment with the 12 to 18 months children. And these children were accompanied by their mother.
Right.
And they were brought into a room with full of toys, and there was a stranger there. So the first time the child was left alone with the stranger and the toys, and then later on the child was left completely alone. So they just wanted to see how the child would react when separated and when it was reunited. So for a child with a secure attachment, they explored the world around them. Right. And then upon separation,
toys around.
Yeah. Upon separation, like they would experience distress that, oh, the mom has left. They would cry. and then upon when the mom returns, they're comforted by the mom. Yeah.
Right.
So in fact, you can check the video out. It's on YouTube only, and you can understand it in depth, and also understand your relationship. Maybe a mother might be watching, so she can understand her relationship with a child through that. And also for now anxious attachment, this child explored the world around in a very limited way. And upon separation, they experience extreme distress when the parent leaves them, completely stressed. And upon reunited, they are comforted, but they resist it. They show signs of maybe anger, or they're clinging to their mother a lot. And this shows that their primary caregiver has been inconsistent with their care of their child, and the child feels like the need to cling on to their parents or be independent because they're unsure whether their needs will be met. Yeah. And then for the avoidant type, now for this child, they're completely independent. They explore their world around them independently, and then upon separation, they show little distress. And then when they're reunited, they don't seek comfort actively. They try to ignore, or they just they avoid. Yeah. And for disorganized, now for this child, upon you can see there's confusion, there is literally there's just confusion and fear. And then upon separation, they do fear what's going to happen next, and they also kind of freeze. And then upon reunited, they are comforted, but they avoid eye contact. And this shows that the primary caregiver, there have been signs of abuse, neglect, and trauma. And for avoidant, most of the time the primary caregivers are usually unresponsive to the care of the child's needs.
Right.
So they feel like they have to navigate their world around them by themselves.
On their own. Okay.
There's no one to rely on. And the way this impacts their adulthood, it can be seen later on as well, because I'm sure you must have seen people like these somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially for in Black communities, firstborns are usually, I think firstborns are usually just their nature. Firstborns are usually way more independent than siblings. Could that?
Now we're headed to the birth order.
Yeah.
Now that's by Alfred Adler. Now the Adlerian theory. Of course, yeah, firstborns are usually independent like that. And I wouldn't say it's because their needs have been met or something like that. It's because probably the expectations they've had by their parents. They're basically, with the firstborn, their expectations from parents, and they're like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. And they're much more strict, I guess, parents on them. And the firstborns are usually strong on their own. They have display leadership skills. Pretty much the example set
to the rest of them.
To the rest of the siblings, yes.
Wow.
And let's do a deep dive of how these attachment styles play out in adulthood. Yeah. And how it impacts the relationship. And we later talk about secure, then what a secure type attachment looks like. So I think we should begin with avoidant.
Yeah, avoidant.
You mentioned avoidant earlier. So if I may ask, are you the type of person who avoids intimacy? Are you the type of person who likes to suppress their own emotional needs?
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
Are you highly independent?
Emotionally?
Well, just generally. Emotionally,
Yes.
you don't like to rely on your partner.
Sure.
You don't like to be vulnerable around them.
Yeah.
And you kind of avoid being emotionally close to them.
Right. That's me. That's me.
Well, I like the fact that you acknowledge that this is you, which
Yeah.
means that it's time to self-reflect and how
Yeah.
you can change those things. Yeah.
Mm.
So at least you know that this has been something that's been going on since you were a child or a teenager, I guess.
Mm.
And maybe you can change that. It's time.
It's time.
Yeah. To gain self-awareness about those patterns, about those things.
Mm.
And most of the time, it's not like they don't want to be loved. They do want to be loved, but they're just afraid.
Mm.
It's just being afraid. And the impact that it has on the partners, it makes them feel like they're not loved, they're not wanted in that relationship. And it also prevents them from having meaningful relationships with their partners.
Sure.
Have you experienced that?
Yeah.
Do you think your partners have felt that way when,
Well, I've ever been told I'm hard to love.
They must have not felt loved.
Right. Let me just say I was avoidant.
Mm.
And
We'll
that's a
get
problem,
into
right?
it, yeah. And this type of people, they usually just tend to stop things just suddenly, just to avoid getting too attached to someone. Yeah.
You're with someone and everything is perfect, and all of a sudden you ghost.
Yeah.
You disappear.
Ghost them. And like I would say definitely go if you feel like it's something very deep caused by something very traumatic or something. I would say seek out a therapist and talk therapy, basically. Just talk it out, understand why it's happening and what are the behavioral patterns, how can you change that.
Right.
It basically stems to belief, and just find out. I would say seek that. And of course we talked about low self-esteem. Insecurities are also a form of low self-esteem. So the previous video we talked about, you can try to reflect on that, navigate through it, and see how you can change your life accordingly. Yeah.
Do you think someone has to work on that first before they get into a relationship with someone else?
Yes. Because you're gonna go back and you're gonna experience the same thing again.
It's gonna be a cycle.
It's gonna be a cycle. It's important you address this thing first and understand, is this with certain people only? What kind of people are they? And look within yourself as well. What is causing all this? Ask yourself first, because nobody knows you as well as you know yourself. So it's important to ask yourself, why am I doing this? These are they're very valid questions you need to ask yourself. Get to know yourself better, find out why you do things, and if these things are being triggered again, find the root cause and deal with it accordingly. Yeah. But of course, try to journal your thoughts and feelings as you are doing so there's a pattern, there's something like that. It changes a lot once you get to know that, oh, this is wrong, this is what I've been doing wrong. And once you do that, you try to make things right. Yeah. You want the best. Yeah. And for anxious attachment styles, of in adults, these people tend to fear being abandoned. And it's like they want constant reassurance from their partners. So like, do they love them? And they're constantly worrying, where are they, you know, like they're texting them, and then they get upset if they don't receive a text immediately. Their whole day is just surrounded by that, and they're always clingy to their partners.
That's a problem.
Yeah, there's like over dependence. Yeah. And it's to a point where like your relationships, like you draw people away because of this constant neediness in you. It's not wrong to be clingy, but when you're being overly like clingy to them and just too attached to them, where you don't have your own individuality, you're just hanging out with them, even though you have your friends are there, and you're just like, your whole world is around there.
Yeah. That's a problem that needs to be dealt with.
Yeah, like you want to be yourself in a relationship, as well as trying to listen to your partner and be there for them as well. You can do both. Yeah. And of course, priorities are priorities. Yeah. And disorganized ones, oh my god. Disorganized ones are like, well, they fear being abandoned. At the same time, they fear being close to someone.
Wow.
Yeah. And they kind of like so one day they're just too close, too like this emotionally too close to each other.
Yeah.
There's that intensity, and then the next day it's complete coldness. Yeah.
And that's a problem, right?
Yeah, this is like what
I've experienced that a lot with the experience. That's actually a problem. Damn.
It is. And if it's from someone, then you need to tell them to, you know, address these things, talk it out, communicate with them, how they're feeling, how they're not feeling, and everything. And hey, they have chaotic relationships because of that, and they tend to have a pattern of being unstable in a relationship, and also maybe more prone to being in abusive relationships. Yeah.
Damn. And how can that, is there a solution for that?
There are solutions, because like I said, most of them are stemmed through trauma, neglect, and abuse. And I would say definitely seek therapy. And if you feel like it, you know, it is sometimes I am thinking of something and it's too much. Like there's physical abuse, just any type of abuse in that relationship, where one thing you're just too close with one another, and then the next day you're just completely cold. You're just telling everyone that you're going to break up with him, the next day you're just one with each other, and then there are fights, there are intense fights, like I said, now the anxious people do suffer from low self-esteem, I forgot to mention, and they seek constant validation. So for that, they do need to watch the video as well that we did earlier on. And not just them, but also these people with the disorganized attachment style. So they most of them, like sometimes they accuse their partners of cheating or betrayal without any evidence.
Right.
And like I said, they're rooted in deep insecurities. Yeah.
Wow. And what about insecurity?
These are all forms of insecure attachment.
Okay.
Yeah, these three. And now secure attachment, like this is the goal. You want to be in a relationship with someone who is confident and secure in themselves. Not just that, you also trust them. They like this trust and loyalty.
There's a meaning in that kind of a relationship. Yeah. And that's how it's supposed to be, right?
That exactly, that's how it's supposed to be. You need to be able to be comfortable enough to communicate your feelings and thoughts to someone, where you can be yourself, you can be vulnerable with them without being judged. and you can share whatever there is without any like, oh, you're being gaslit or anything, or being, told that you're the problem,
Right.
that you need to listen. Basically, someone who listens to their partner's needs and cares for them.
And not just to listen for the sake of
Yeah.
listening, but listening to understand.
And there's mutual respect and
Yeah.
understanding between them.
Yeah.
That's a healthy balance.
Mm.
You want to create that.
Right.
You don't want to create something too much, too wrong.
Mm.
And I'm sure people do have that innate ability to understand if something is unhealthy for them.
Yep.
Yeah. Try to work on that. It's sometimes it's very hard because people don't see on the other side, but just imagine if this is going to be your future for real. Yeah. Think about it in the long run. How will it impact your mental health, and how will it impact the mental health in case you have children, and the people around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think technically zodiac signs affect relationships among people?
What?
Zodiac signs.
Zodiac.
Yeah. First of all, do you believe in zodiac signs?
Astrology is not really my thing, honestly. No, it does not. If you hear someone says, "Oh, I'm a Scorpio," you're a Scorpio. I can't date a Scorpio.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's crazy.
Like, are you seriously gonna generalize people under that thing because they were born under a certain month?
Yeah.
Not really. It doesn't impact. It's a person's character, and it can be good, it can be bad. It doesn't matter if they what sign they are. Don't label people like that. You should label people. I wouldn't say label people at all, but just you need to have that good judge of character, and it's not based on zodiac signs.
Yeah.
It's not based on zodiac signs. People are different.
I mean, yeah. I'm a Cancer, so I can date a fellow Cancer.
I don't know anything. Look, I don't know anything about that. There's no science behind that. I don't. It's if anything,
more theory, right?
Yeah, not pseudoscience. But anyways, this is more like it was an ancient Indian thing, before it got popularized by the Western.
It's originated from India.
Yeah. I think, should I ask my mom for that?
You should tell us next time
I think so.
Do this video.
Yeah. If I'm wrong, just let me know. But I think this is an Indian thing, because they still do that thing where they check your planetary systems, where when you were born, when you weren't born, and they kind of judge like, now these are the planets that happened, and they make accordingly, like your birth chart or something like that. It feels like this is something from India, Hinduism. Yeah.
And just before we proceed, if you are a startup or a business owner and you want to have an online presence, then visit www.skyfork.com. We provide a lot of services that includes integration into your business, web and app development, 360 degrees digital marketing. So we have a couple of services that you can check out on www.skyfork.com. So when there was a time I was dating. Not really dating. I was chasing a girl, hoping it will turn out to be something real, a relationship, a healthy relationship. But now the reaction I got was that I am delusional. I'm delusional, and I am I don't know if you understand.
delusional, like
It-
the
it-
fact that maybe you would be together one day.
yeah, I think, yeah, that.
Are you sure you have avoidant attachment? Usually people in those type, they fear expressing themselves emotionally.
Well,
Did I mention that most of the anxious attachment styles, they fear rejection a lot?
yes.
They are very
In
hypersensitive
fact,
to that.
yeah. In fact, I remember it's one. I think that day was actually the first time I experienced real rejection, because it's something I don't remember experiencing. It was, I think, the first time I experienced rejection, and it really hurts. And,
Look, I would say be proud that you got the courage to step up and express your love.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing. I have never done that. That's something I should do as well. And I definitely encourage people to express their love in a very healthy way, not like go on harassing girls unnecessarily or men. Don't do that. But of course, like, it reminds me of the meme, sorry to say. What's the worst you can say? Like, other than no. Are you delusional? I'm sorry, but it just reminded me of that meme. But, but look,
do you think you can
what?
make the first move to a guy you like, someone you like?
I mean, times are changing, of course, sometimes you do, but I'm more traditional, so I would rather sit back, suppress my emotional needs,
And wait for.
and wait. Hopefully, I can send a signal, telepathically or something.
Damn.
But yeah, going back to look, I think I've said this before. You can't control how she might respond or what other people might say. You said what you had to say, and you said it the way you were as a person, who you are. And if someone does not like that, you can just accept it and try to move on.
Okay.
There are going to be stages of grief, like this: denial, anger, bargaining, and depression, and acceptance. Finally,
right.
You might go through all those stages regarding that, because it's a rejection, your first time rejection. It does hurt, honestly. But to be honest, the best thing you can do in that situation is try to remain yourself, like try to be confident and be like, okay, if it wasn't meant to be, it's not meant to be. Because you want to be with someone who will appreciate that, instead of tell you, oh, you're delusional. So that's just life. You would find someone. I'm sure you'll find someone who will accept that, instead of saying something like that.
What do you think are signs of, or rather, what do you think are okay, what's a healthy relationship? How does a healthy relationship look like from your perspective? Like
I already said, in a secure attachment, there is mutual respect and understanding. There's a healthy amount of communication between each other. You can be yourself around them without being judged. And I mean, like, not being too much goofy, you end up hurting their feelings or something like that. You need to be careful of each other and being empathetic. I think the most important thing is, it's not about what you want. What do you want in a partner? Is it like, you should ask yourself first before you even expect what you want in a partner. Is like, do you even have the ability to make someone happy? Are you able to put yourself in their shoes to understand where they're coming from?
Right.
Yeah. So there's that, I won't stress this hard enough. Mutual respect and understanding is the way of life between a partner. You don't want to be with someone who does not understand what you're going through. Yeah, you could be going through a lot, and you're dealing with a lot of responsibilities, and all they care about is themselves.
Yeah.
So you definitely want someone who also reciprocates your feelings as well, and does just, it's like, I would say, caring for a flower, like a rose over here. I know these are cut. Yeah, these are cut for your own presentation or your own whatever you want it for decoration. But the real challenge in a relationship comes if, like, you'd actually let these flowers grow and nurture. Caring for them and cutting them for your own personal needs are two different things. So yeah.
And for someone who just want to get into a relationship, planning, or maybe noticed someone and not sure whether to get into that relationship, or what do you think would be the signs of a healthy partner? If someone does what?
I have not even been in a relationship.
Oh, but
look at me, your dear single friend giving advice over here. Well,
single people, the
yeah.
people best. People with the best advice.
Like,
I'm also your psychologist, so you know better.
Look, I would say a lot of things, honestly, but the main question comes is, have I even done this anyway? So, but of course, people need to look out for signs. This, I would say, talk to people. Talk to people and find out, like, opinions of them on recent world events. I'm going to talk this basically in a way that Gen Z would understand. Yeah. Like, find out what are their opinions on world matters, financial stability, and the previous relationships, how they ended. All these can definitely indicate to one what kind of person the other person is. It's not like none of us are not that bad at judging characters or anything. It's just that we need to talk and learn more about others and find out if they're even like an ideal match for us.
Right.
And I think the more you get to know them about on different topics, talking to them, the more you learn about them.
And finally, do you think finances play a huge role in a relationship, especially healthy relationship?
Yes. There's no doubt about it. You need to be able to provide for yourself and more for your partner, to be able to just live a healthy life. Because whether you like it or not, it does impact.
Yeah, money, of course, money
does impact.
And
so we culturally are expected to date someone when, like, of course, we want to marry them. Yeah. So you definitely want to marry someone who is financially stable, or you want to date someone who is financially stable in case you want to get married to them. So that, when you get married, of course, the first thing is like, can he provide for you, and in case you guys have a family. So yes, it's very important. So that's why I'm saying, like, you need to build yourself first,
right,
before you head into a relationship.
And building yourself, it encompasses everything. That includes finances, yourself as a person.
Exactly.
And all that.
And spiritually.
And spiritual as well.
Yeah.
Right. That was insightful. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this. We are really grateful for for your time, to watch and listen to us, and we are really proud of you. Lots of love. So yeah, that's why we have these episodes of Love and Magic, just to share this knowledge to everyone. So just make sure you guys leave your feedback, because we really don't know what you guys want to listen to. we don't know what you guys want, so you can just leave the kind of topics, the kind of conversations you guys want us to have in the comment section, so that we can understand what you guys really want. And also, if you do enjoy the video, please like and share this video to everyone you care for, because sharing is caring.
Of course.
Yeah, and if you have watched the whole of this video without subscribing, stop being a hater.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you have anything to say as we?
Nothing really. I just want people to take a chance and to reflect on what kind of relationship, what kind of attachment style they have in in their relationships, with not just for their future partner, but also the current partner. I mean, and with their other parents and siblings as well. We want to make the best out of all.
Yeah. Yes. We appreciate. And by the way, there is someone who tipped me, and unfortunately, I couldn't see who that was. But I'll try and find out and give you a shout out. I'm grateful. Yes. So thank you so much for being here, and see you in the next week. Bye bye.